It's an origin story, but is it really? Because he's adopted, so you don't really know where he came from.
Yeah, that was weird to say.
Brunch, hit it, boys!
Hey, this one's for the fellas out there. We get some boys listening every now and then. We never talk about the boys who are listening.
We've never talked about like the ratio of the listeners.
I don't know. I would say 70% non-existent and 30% people.
30%, 70% non-existent, 20% pissed at us,
Yeah.
and 10% still listening.
Every now and then someone will be like, hey, I got my coworker into brunch and blah, blah. I'm like, oh, that was huge.
That changed my year.
Yes. I'm like, oh, that was big. Thank you.
Speaking of listeners that are pissed at us, we didn't have an episode last week. Apologies, straight off the top.
What do you think people think when we don't have episodes? We've only had probably like maybe 3-4 weeks max the last like 5 years where we haven't had an episode.
Yeah, so we don't often miss.
Right.
We're very often late.
Yes,
But I think it's a bummer because I think one of the most depressing responses we got were because I tweeted last week, I was like, anybody going to ask where the podcast is? And then somebody asked where the podcast is, and I said, oh, thank you for asking, but no episode this week. But one of the responses we got was, well, I'm just never surprised when brunch isn't in my feed anymore.
So that I don't like.
Yeah.
That I really don't like. And I also, there was it was well-intentioned. It was like,
It's like
I'm old enough to remember when brunch episodes came out.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me sad. And I know that hey, like, look, we've made our bed. We gotta stay up all night watching Netflix in it. But that makes me sad because we
it's very depressing.
We were go-getters, and we still in our mind are, but it's harder to like. The reason we didn't have an episode last week was legitimately, hey, I can't do this time. Can you do this time? Okay, wait, I can't do this time. Blah blah. And then like it's the end of the week, and you can't do it.
The Patriots game really fucked us. I'll be in on Thursday.
Patriots game messed us up. But
We're here.
we're still here, and we're not going anywhere. It's I don't know when a podcast's been around for how many years have we been doing this podcast?
3+?
Way longer than that, I would say.
4?
Yeah,
Probably
maybe
pretty close to 4 now.
Maybe 4, maybe more.
But I can tell you that we have exactly 300 episodes on iTunes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So that means we've done 301 episodes because we had to delete one of the episodes because it was while I was being cast on that game show, and I'd mentioned that I'd auditioned for a game show, and they said to not have anything out there. I'm going to search my own mailbox for Chris Diamantopoulos. September of 2015, I emailed somebody trying to get in touch with Chris Diamantopoulos. So over 4 years, we've been doing this. For over 4 years. The point being, 4 years ago, we were less busy with work, and you guys don't want to hear excuses and everything, but I'm just telling you, I'm just laying down some facts.
No, because we kind of had like a state of the podcast discussion this week for the first time in a while.
We were less busy with work. We lived closer to each other. We were younger. We
spry.
We had more energy. Shit like that.
I wasn't depressed.
Podcasts.
I could sleep at night.
Yeah. Yeah, we only had one depressed person. Podcasts weren't as ubiquitous as they are now.
I don't think that's really like altered us.
I think that's part of it.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that we were the best. I legitimately thought that we were the best. When we were early on, I was quite confident that I had the best podcast in the world.
That's because you didn't listen to any podcasts.
Yeah, but I just knew that like we had an energy and shit that other podcasts don't have. And I'll listen to other podcasts from time to time, and I'll be like, yeah, this is a bad podcast. This isn't as good as ours. But I think that
a lot of people have figured it out.
I think that like a lot of the things that we were doing well early, a lot of podcasts do. And I also find that now that I listen to other podcasts here and there, there's an energy that happens within like the first couple years of a podcast, not right off the bat, but where like a lot of the inside jokes are starting, and like where if you're really going to create a silly little world, that's where that's happening. And that can extend, and we can have callbacks to shit that we did 2, 3, 4 years ago.
But you don't be hanging on to that
but
stuff.
that's like not really that growth isn't necessarily happening at the rate it was before.
True.
It's like when you're like a puppy, within a few months, you like kind of look as big as you're going to look for the rest of your life. And then 3 years later, you're still older, but you weren't growing at the rate you were before. Which is to say, I mean, I miss things like that. I said that to you yesterday. Like I understand why that isn't as common for a podcast that's lasted forever, but just like a lot of the like establishing of like this is a crazy world that we're creating. Now we're just like in this weird world.
It's like a relationship. I mean, you get the honeymoon phase in the first 6 months or whatever.
We don't have nearly as much sex as we used
to. No, we don't. Now we just bicker and you know, I'm always.
Now we're like, did you see what the youth said on Twitter today? Don't they understand that? Oh, this is the complaint for everything.
We're at different bars like 4 nights a week, and then we kind of just get together once a week and we sleep in the same bed for an hour.
Yeah, that's not true. I don't really go. I was at a bar the other night, and I was like, man, I remember when I used to like frequently go to bars.
I wish that I had.
I don't really go to bars anymore.
No, I don't either.
I don't go to anything anymore.
I wish that. Yes, same.
I go to work.
I wish that I had like a casual bar that I could like was like right down the street, and I wish that I had like 5 friends that lived in the same neighborhood, and we could just easily be like, let's just go to the bar.
I kind
like a
of
sitcom.
have that. I kind of have that, but it's more like the people that I let come to my apartment, which is a small number. They get to go to that bar with me.
Okay.
It's not like, hey, everybody goes to this bar and we all meet up.
I just feel like trying to do anything is such a fucking pain in the ass.
Right. And we were talking about that with brunch. Like, I still legitimately look forward to brunch as like the other, or like the weird thing that I do. It's like my extracurricular activity, which when we first started brunch, I desperately needed, because for the first time in my life, I didn't have anything other than like work going on. Like in high school, college, you have your clubs, you have like whatever you might do, and then like you get into the real world and you have a job. And I had a super fun job and a super cool job, but it was still kind of weird not having a little like other thing to do. So I would take like I would do like improv classes or stand up or whatever, and then that stopped, and I was like desperately needed like a real outlet, like lasting extracurricular. And that's what this is, and I still look forward to it, but just as older people, it's I don't know, like trying to, I don't want to have to think like, hey, what can we do to separate ourselves from everybody else, or like what can we do to make it as I don't know, to like recapture old things that we were doing before, because you don't want to just like rehash stuff. And a lot of the stuff that we did early on was us like getting our opinions and takes out there on things that we've now since discussed. So now for us to do like a what's your favorite season thing would be forced, because that's just like one of the few topics we haven't hit, and one that isn't as
pretty sure we have hit it.
What's your favorite season? Fall?
Yeah, fall's got to be number 1.
I'm a fall guy, but if I hear one
I love summer though.
Word about Taco Fall, I'm gonna lose my mind.
It was a while ago, so you might have forgotten. But our last episode was the fake Joker episode.
Yes,
which we can now officially tab as the fake Joker episode.
Right. Although I still haven't seen Joker.
No, you not really?
No, I'm on a roll with lying to people though. I have seen it.
Okay. God damn it. Yeah, the reactions to the fake Joker episode, just what I wanted.
Yeah.
Nobody got mad.
It stinks though. Just a lot of like, I was like, did I see a different movie? That was all I wanted. I wanted several tweets of that exact same thing phrased the same way.
I got to give ourselves a pat on the back.
What movie were you guys watching? And then 15 minutes later, haha.
I got to give ourselves a pat on the back, though. Like, we were kind of close on some stuff.
What were we close on?
There
was a lot of German.
There was a ton of German.
With no subtitles.
Yes. Too many bath scenes. Definitely too many
right.
bath scenes.
Yep.
The clothing stuff did actually happen.
Yeah.
You knew a lot about like the characters and stuff, but that's because you went to
Did I?
IMDb. Like,
Well, just names.
yeah, but also like I didn't know that Robert De Niro, like that he was going to be obsessed with Robert De Niro's TV show host character.
Yeah, I think that was led on in I don't know, either shit that was written about it, like in between, like, now I haven't seen this movie, but here's why it's bad. I think they sprinkled in a little, like he's obsessed with Robert De Niro.
I couldn't stand to read anything about it.
Oh.
So
I'll tell you, Robert De Niro wasn't good in that movie.
No, he was just
very
like,
miscast, and it was very strange.
Yeah, it was weird. It was fine though. Like I wasn't like, It was just like it was a name that wasn't necessary.
Yeah, I loved the movie though. I thought the movie was awesome.
I thought the movie was very, very good.
Yeah, like I put it in the like 82-ish.
I think
range.
I would put it a little higher. I think I'd like put like 87 or something. I wouldn't go quite as high as 90, but high 80 seems to be like one of the best.
Oh
of
yeah,
the year
high
so
80's
far.
awesome. I would say, especially for this year. I feel like I'm kind of
hasn't-
waiting for the great
yeah.
stuff to come out, and it just hasn't.
Is
yet.
there anything that has like completely knocked your socks off, like 90 or above?
I don't know what I would give Midsommar.
Midsommar is like
see
the
it
most
for like a 10th time.
It's like the one that makes the biggest impact.
Yeah,
but I don't know if
well,
I would
like
put
when
it
I
in
think of like
90.
2019 movies, like
Right.
Midsommar is the first thing that comes to mind.
That's true.
And I don't think Midsommar was fantastic, but I didn't. I mean, I'm not thinking like Oscars or anything for it.
Really, I think it might.
Really?
Like, it might be in some of the discussions. Not. It's. I don't think it's
Outstanding
gonna
achievement in white.
be yes, in floral. Outstanding achievement in floral. It could definitely be in there for costume design.
Oh, true.
So
It's a
yeah.
bit girly.
Yes.
I don't know why I said that in like a was that German? I said it for
I don't
that
know. No
guy's accent?
subtitles.
What's that?
No
Oh,
subtitles.
right. Yeah, I couldn't tell what I was saying.
So, best movie for me so far, but sidebar, best movie for me so far this year, no question, The Last Black Man in San Francisco. I loved that
didn't
movie.
See that?
I really loved it. But yeah, that one's up there. I think The Farewell is going to be in like that.
I was going to say
discussion.
everyone's going to go nuts on The Farewell.
And then also Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But Joker, I really liked it. Like, it was a very unpleasant watch. It was a it was a difficult movie to get through, and I think like a lot of it was unpleasant and sort of left you with like, ugh, I don't like that I'm like seeing this.
Yeah.
But it was a good movie, and I think that it's okay to walk away from that movie being like uneasy or like feeling unpleasant because it's the Joker origin story, and a Joker origin story should be unpleasant.
Yeah, I loved the I loved the unreliable narrator aspect.
Yeah.
And really, it was like pretty easy to figure out what was going on. I was like, all right, if anything positive is happening to him, it's not actually happening. If there's anything where you're like, hey, Arthur's having a pretty good day, then just you gotta throw it out. This is absolutely not real. Even the scene of him in the hospital with Zazie Beetz,
Where it's like he's having a positive interaction
right.
with
That's where I
somebody.
was like, wait, maybe that was real. That like they're actually talking to each other and seeing each other, but there was just no way.
Yeah,
But
that one didn't really. That like realization or like reveal
Mm-hmm.
didn't really do anything for me because I definitely saw that coming. It
Right.
didn't. His interactions with her didn't make any sense in like the context of everything going on around him, and nobody else addressed her.
right.
So that didn't really wow me, and I wish that they didn't. I honestly wish that they didn't like show the. I feel like they over-explained it.
Why? Oh, show her walking in and being like,
Or like no, just like him talking to nobody.
Oh.
and things like that when they had like the reveal that she wasn't actually. I thought they just like, kind of
yeah, that's right.
over-explained it.
They did do like a little like montage
Yeah.
after. That's right. Yeah, where as you were seeing those initially, you're like, all right. When he first walks in and kisses her, you're like, all right, 50-50 at best that this is actually happening. And they're sprinkling more in, and it's all like you're staying with that of this could very well not actually be happening.
Yeah.
So then once it's made clear to you that this didn't happen,
And I kind of,
right. You don't need to.
yeah, and I kind of just like making the viewer kind of think back in their head, being like, oh, wait, did anybody address her? Like,
Yeah.
it would just, I felt like it was just a little bit over-explained.
Joaquin Phoenix, awesome.
Yes.
As expected. That's where, like, for me, the movie kind of was what I expected. It was solid, good story, good performances and everything, but just really that Joaquin Phoenix was unbelievable.
Yeah, and that was definitely expected. Definitely expected that it would be pretty well shot. Like, there were a lot of great shots, especially at the end. And like when they were bringing in a lot of that color, it was awesome. I very much enjoyed like the visual spectacle of it.
I liked his laugh. He did a good laugh. And that's kind of an important one for the Joker. I went down a bit of a Joker rabbit hole afterwards. I went and saw the original Batman, or not the original Batman, but the first Michael Keaton Batman, which for some reason I'd never seen before.
Really?
I didn't know that was the Jack Nicholson one. Mm-hmm. I thought the Jack Nicholson one was like a 70s movie.
No, that was the Jack Nicholson one, and then the second one was the Penguin.
I've seen Batman
Catwoman.
Returns a million times,
Yeah.
and I had never seen the first one of those.
That's the one that's always on TV, or like used to be always on TV.
Batman
before
Returns?
before Dark Knight.
We had that on VHS for some reason when I was a kid, and it horrified me because I thought that Billy Joel was Michael Keaton, and around the same time, the River of Dreams album came out, and also that movie was out. What year was that movie? 91 or something?
Which one?
Batman Returns?
Yeah, I think the original one was like 84, so maybe...
No way.
Really? I thought it was. I
would say like 87 at the latest, maybe 89.
Maybe. I thought it was like 84.
Let's just lie
89.
about whatever it was. All right, so it was 1940. Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember River of Dreams came out, and I loved it, and I loved Billy Joel, and we had Batman Forever or Batman Returns on VHS for some reason, and Michael Keaton and Billy Joel kind of looked the same in 1993, so I thought they were the same person, and I wanted to watch that movie, and it fucking horrified me.
Okay.
And I don't even think I necessarily even got any clarity on the this is two different people thing. I was just so
Well, one of them
ruined.
is aged much better than the other.
Billy Joel?
Yes.
Yes. Hey, I don't see Michael Keaton selling out Wrigley Field.
I bet he could if you wanted to.
Michael Keaton?
Yeah.
Probably.
I'd just go to see Michael
Braga
Keaton do
would buy
something.
all the tickets.
I'd go to see him do something for like an hour.
Did you ever end up seeing Multiplicity?
No. I still have to.
But anyway, yeah, I went down a Batman rabbit hole to kind of, because I was like, oh, I'll see whichever one that Jack Nicholson Joker was, and I was like, oh shit, it was just that one that was before Batman Returns. That was a weird, creepy ass Joker, but I liked Jack Nicholson's Joker because unlike all the other ones, and no one else is gonna say this, we're the only ones that'll go there. Jack Nicholson just played Joker as like a fat guy.
Yeah, it was like
He was just like an out of shape like. He like wasn't like too theatrical or anything. He wasn't moving too fast. He was just like he
kind of mailed it in,
using a lot of makeup.
Yeah. He was for sure like I guess that's not true. The guy before him was like a well presented Joker.
Okay.
The like Heath Ledger really kind of went in on the like really gritty, screwed up.
Heath Ledger was a very flamboyant Joker, and I feel like there's two ways that people play the Joker, and it's very flamboyant, or it's like a real seedy bad dude who walks around with guns and shoots people.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, whether it was from comic books or cartoons or I don't know what it was, but that was the idea that I had of the Joker. So
he wasn't really like
Phoenix's-
deranged.
Right. So Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of the Joker is way more in line of what I like thought the Joker was, and Heath Ledger was incredible. And then that gave birth to the Jared Leto Joker, which I've not seen, but I'm going to shit on because that's
bad.
That's like the only. For some reason, we're all being very considerate and being like, hey, don't be mean to people. If you see that there's a continuity error in the Breaking Bad movie, be considerate with how you present it. And I'm sure that we're going to get to that in a little bit. But like, don't go fat shaming people. Don't be mean, and don't say things about an actor that you wouldn't say about your friend or your family or whatever. Except if it's Jared Leto's Joker, you are allowed to be so mean. I don't understand that. People are so mean to Jared Leto about the Joker.
Because I think a big part of the reason is that Jared Leto is such a fucking tryhard.
Oh,
he
is
is such a fucking tryhard, and like he thought that he was killing it with his Joker, and he just had like no self awareness. He was a real asshole too when he like approached the character. Yeah, like he was.
All right, so I was like, something must have happened.
Yeah,
because
he was like mailing co-stars like dog shit or things like that, like doing like real deranged shit to like get into the character, and people were like, ugh, man, don't harass your co-stars. As like getting into the character.
I'm in. Let's drag him.
Yeah, so I think that's a big reason why everybody was like, dude, fuck this guy's Joker.
I haven't seen or read a single thing about this whole Joker situation in the last couple of months without somebody being like, hey, it could be worse. It could be Jared Leto's Joker. That guy fucking sucks, huh?
And like he provided a service though, because he was the first Joker after Heath Ledger's. And so
that's where I feel extra bad for him.
Right, but I'm glad that it was something super fucking shitty. Like, if he had done a halfway decent Joker and everybody was shitting on it because they were comparing it to Heath Ledger's, I'd feel kind of bad for him. But his was so bad. And the movie was terrible, and he just seemed to be like a pretty bad dude, or like a really obnoxious dude in terms of approaching the role. It was like the worst possible situation, and so I'm glad we get to shit on it.
So he had... He did the Joker with like slicked back hair and grills. Is that correct?
Grills and like a ton of tattoos.
Oh, tattoos, right. How did he play him?
Like just like a I'm a crazy guy. Sort of like I'm a real crazy guy.
That sounds like a bad version or a worse version of Heath Ledger's Joker.
Right. It was basically like he was trying to play Heath Ledger, but like I'm going to ramp up like the I'm a deranged thing.
Yeah.
So Do you see any sort of like consistency or like evolution from the origin story that like you could see Joaquin Phoenix's character turning into Heath Ledger's?
Absolutely not.
No?
I think they're completely different.
Okay.
I think that Heath Ledger's Joker was like a mastermind savant. Like he was psychotic, and I saw Jeff Lowe note this, and very correct. Like everything in the Dark Knight Joker does is planned like 500 steps ahead, and this guy is more. Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is more. You look at him wrong, and he's going to shoot you.
Right, and like he's not really like planning any steps ahead.
Right, like
and he's making a lot of missteps.
Right, he ain't buying parachutes. He's not doing bombs. He's not doing these crazy things. He's like I'm going to go into the bank and like shoot the teller.
But it is an origin story, so like this is the start of his, I don't know if he gets criminal life.
Right, but I don't know if he gets smarter. He didn't seem like a very smart or even thoughtful guy. He was very, very, and I think it
would be a big leap to get from like the kind of like missteps and not thinking like a criminal, Joaquin Phoenix, to getting as sort of manipulative and like.
And I mean, they built it
scheming.
right in there that Joaquin Phoenix's Joker has like a major brain injury.
Yes,
so he might not even have like the cognitive capacity to do some of the stuff that Ledger's Joker does. But I do like that there's like different types of Jokers. The Joaquin's, like I said, is more kind of in line with what I thought the Joker was. When I was a kid, I didn't know a lot about the cartoons, or is that what comic books? That's the word. Yeah. About the
sometimes they turn into cartoons.
Yeah, I remember.
There was Batman.
There was like a Batman cartoon, and like I said, I feel like the Joker in that was portrayed more like Joaquin's Joker, like this second half where he's like this, where he's just like a thug. Yeah. He's like a gangster that's operating mostly on his own, and he's kind of running his own thing, whereas whereas Heath Ledger's Joker was just like this grand thing.
Yeah, and I don't know. I for me, there's become sort of more separation between the Joker and like just any of those other, like, a lot of the times I felt like the Joker and the Riddler were kind of like interchangeable.
Oh my God, I forgot the Riddler existed. That's yeah. Because the Riddler was supposed to be the really flamboyant one, right? He was the one that was really like jumping around and doing all these crazy. That was Jim Carrey?
Yes, in one of the earlier ones, yeah.
Hilarious.
Now maybe Jonah Hill in the upcoming Batman.
Jonah, is he still paying people to let him do movies?
What? Jonah Hill?
Yeah, remember he did that with was it with No, it wasn't with Moneyball. It was with Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, really? He paid?
Oh yeah, he either didn't get paid or he took like $1,000 or something.
Well,
he was like,
he was great.
Yo,
in that movie.
Scorsese, like, you want to save some money? Let me do this movie.
Hell yeah!
And he was awesome in it.
I love Jonah Hill. I will stand for no Jonah Hill disrespect on this podcast.
Jonah Hill made
one of the best
my
movies
favorite
of last
movie
year.
of last year, which was terrific, mid-90s, and he did the music video for Sunflower, the Vampire Weekend song, and it was legitimately just like Ezra Koenig and Steve Lacy hanging out, and then occasional shots of Jerry Seinfeld, which was like the most boss idea for a music video in the world. Like, hey, we're just going to have you guys hanging out. Seinfeld's also going to be there. And you can totally tell that Jerry Seinfeld has never heard the song, has no idea what it is. Like, there's just like literally a camera on him. He's just like, kind of like,
I'm here.
Oh, okay, I'm here. And then the video ends with somebody pitching Jerry a joke. And Jerry's like, yeah, it's very good. The guy's like, really? And he's like, sure.
The best. Yeah, so I mean, like, I didn't find much of a difference between the Joker and the Riddler, and maybe that'll piss a lot of people off who are like have a comic book history. But you know what? Shut up, nerd.
Yeah.
And like now there is a definite difference between those two characters for me, and I think that a lot of it has been the recent portrayals of the Joker.
Let's rank the Jokers.
Oh, God.
Rank your Jokers. Go ahead. You go first. Go.
I feel this feels like a trap.
Hurry up.
This
it
feels
is.
like a trap.
It is.
All right. The Steve Miller Joker, number 1.
Yep.
Heath Ledger, number 2.
Yep.
And then Joaquin Phoenix, and then the rest doesn't matter.
The rest doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Wow, you're just cutting Jack
top
Nicholson.
3, and
You're
that's
saying
it.
you don't even get it. Okay. Heath Ledger 1. Mm-hmm. Anne Hathaway. Sexist. You didn't include any.
When did she play the Joker?
Catwoman.
She wasn't the Joker.
There's a specific character in the Batman movies that's Joker?
Yeah.
I was going to go Michael Keaton, number 3. The Joker is just somebody from a Batman movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jim Carrey, you want to go Arnold Schwarzenegger? You want to go Jerry, what's that guy's name? Jerry...
Seinfeld?
No, Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, great Joker.
we should put out... We should make like a graphic. It's like ranking the Jokers. 1. Let's definitely do this. Like, we'll actually probably stop recording this episode now, release a super short episode, and then use the rest of our time working on a graphic little video thing. It's like, time to rank the Jokers. 1, Heath Ledger. Iconic performance, rest in peace. 2, Jerry Seinfeld.
We should do it as a brunch blog post. Remember that time that somebody did the fucking ranking the best Greta Van Fleet songs, and it was just a list of Led Zeppelin songs? We should do that. And we do like, hey, we made our list of the 5 best Jokers of all time, and just number 5 starts off with Heath Ledger and gets people real like uneasy. Like, what number 5? It's just like Jerry Seinfeld.
Love the idea.
Eddie Murphy.
All right, so we're definitely doing that. I love the idea of starting 5, working the way up. But here's what we're gonna do: when we talk about them, we're gonna do. You know how people do? They'll have like a still of like an AP photo from the movie or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll just Photoshop ones where it's like Jerry Seinfeld as the Joker. Let's come up with the list.
Okay.
All right.
Wait, should we do it now or should we save it? Well, let's save it.
Well, we kill two birds with one stone if we give the content of us coming up with this brilliant thing.
That's true.
Or, I don't know.
I do kind of like the idea of like saving it for the listeners who get to find out who our favorite Jokers are when they click the blog post. Incentivize them.
That's true.
But
I
also,
love this.
But
this
also,
is such a good idea.
But also, we have to tell
Fuck
the
everyone who
listeners.
said we can't recapture the magic.
And also, all the listeners have to just retweet it and say "unbelievable list" or something like "can't believe this list." A big shocker in this list.
Should we get a? This might be like a good. This might be like a series we can do. We should get a green screen and make a. How hard can it be? Get a green screen, make a backdrop. I'm thinking like this is totally based on Jeff Lowe's videos, where he'll like take a topic off a movie and dive deep into it for like 2 minutes. And if you haven't seen those videos, they're awesome.
Yeah,
and they're well edited. We just do something like that, and we'll count something down that just always devolves into nonsense. Except every now and then we'll do one super serious, and you'll be waiting for the joke, and it'll drive you crazy. Kind of like, do you remember those pronunciation guides?
Yes,
For
so
players?
funny.
If folks don't know this, this was probably before Pete and I even knew each other, but something for which we must have had a mutual admiration. There was a guy who made pronunciation guides for NHL players, and he would say them in a kind of a silly voice, so you're like, I don't know if I should trust this. And then sometimes he would clearly mispronounce the name.
They were so fucking funny. It'd be like Zdeno Chara.
Yeah.
Zdeno.
Yeah.
Chara.
Yeah. What was
Zdeno
some of the
Chara.
yeah, he did like a drunk Raymond voice. But some of the ones that he did for the Bruins were amazing. I'm trying to think of which players he would have done that would have been funny.
I don't know.
So this was like around 2010, 2011. So it would have been
Like Marchand could have been in
right. Tyler Seguin. Tyler Seguin. It was like it was if
It was basically like a
Kermit-
Sesame Street.
Right. If it was
video.
if Kermit and Ray were both drunk at the bar and they were in an argument, and one was like, you sound like this. Hey, I'm Ray, Deborah. No, you sound like this. Like basically one trying to do an impression of the other, and essentially Kermit doing a Raymond in the Kermit voice while drunk.
They were so good.
Milan Lukic. Milan Lukic.
But but every now and then he'd give you one that'd be like
Dustin Bufflin. Dustin Bufflin.
and you're like, I think that's right.
I've heard that.
I think that's right, but like I can't fucking trust this guy because he's out there being like,
Whiny Great Sky. Whiny Great Sky.
It's the best. All right,
So,
we're definitely
yeah.
doing this idea.
all right, so best Jokers. We'll at least think of a couple to throw in there. So
Jerry Seinfeld has to be in there.
Jerry
for sure.
Seinfeld for sure is in there. This is such a good idea. Jerry Seinfeld.
Gilbert Gottfried.
Gilbert Gottfried could be one. Let's see. Number 5 is for sure Heath Ledger. Carlos Mencia.
God.
Carlos Mencia broke. He's best known for his smash show Mind of Mencia, which is currently raking in billions in syndication dollars, because that's still on. Which is currently making like fists full of cash in syndication on Nick at Night. And then people will go look that up and be like, Mind of Mencia on Nick at Night? But he broke into the biz with his classic portrayal. We're also going to come up with the non-existent Joker Batman movies.
Hell
And,
yes.
like Batman 5, Return of Jafar.
when Carlos Mencia was kicked off the stand-up circuit for stealing jokes, he decided to
Oh,
get
right.
into a life of crime.
He did steal jokes,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
And but he's got a show on Netflix now.
Does he really?
Yeah, he's got I think
Are you sure?
it's
I feel like that would have been news.
one of the. You know what? It might be Gabriel Iglesias, another comic.
I
of
think
that
he
era.
has one.
Yeah. So we've done a lot of Batman so far. I'll also say I saw Mad De Niro movies as well.
Yeah, you went in on that, huh?
Yeah. A couple weekends ago.
I had a couple notes on Joker that I wanted to hit.
Do it.
It's an origin story, but is it really? Because he's adopted, so you don't really know where he came from.
Yeah, well, that was weird to say, but I
That's my joke.
Okay, but
We don't know his parents, so what's the origin?
feels like a adoption shaming. I will say, like the origin story aspect immediately loses weight with me because I'm like, we've seen the Joker presented in 6,000 ways.
Yeah,
He came because he fell. He happened because he fell into a vat of acid or whatever, or because of this. And like Jack Nicholson's guy wasn't a aspiring comic. So same with like when you show like at the end of the Joker when they show that Bruce Wayne's parents are killed. I'm like, yo,
I definitely didn't need that.
You've shown that
Yeah.
happen for 55 different reasons. So when you give me a new one, I don't care.
Yeah, and I didn't need it because I thought that the shot of like the guy walking to the alley and there's still like a shadow on the wall as he's moving towards the alley could have ended there. I thought that would have been great. It would have been a nice little like nod. You don't have to stick it in my face. I thought there were like a few things like this where I could have done without him. Obviously, I already said the Zazie Beetz explanation. I didn't need the Wayne's parents' death. I also didn't need that last scene. I think the movie should have ended when he was out on the streets.
Right. They're
Yeah.
just being like...
That was an unbelievable, like, slow shot at the very end with him and the crowd behind him.
I agree.
Would have been great. Would have been a great ending. And then they went on with, like, an extra 5 minutes that definitely weren't needed.
Yeah.
It's a cold world for the Joker, but it would be a lot warmer if he didn't sleep in the fridge.
That's better.
It's not as
I don't. You know what? I don't hate making this a thing as well. When we see a movie, I don't come up with any jokes. You come up with jokes where after it's like, hey, Pete writes some jokes off of the movies. Yeah. You have to do it for every movie we see though.
This is gonna be tough, but
Yeah.
I can try.
Be like, all right, Roma, go.
God. That was the only two that I had for this one. So
Okay, well, hey, before long you're gonna have a tight five. You are going to be.
It's is rats versus mice. Is it a speed thing?
What is it? What is it, like a speed thing? There's some way to differentiate these guys that I don't know about. I mean, come on. That's how. If you haven't seen the movie, that's Joaquin's voice.
It's
There's
pretty
a scene
good.
where he walks into the hall laughing, and he's like, ha 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 ha. Ah, come on.
Okay.
Yo,
I'm good on Joker talk now.
word. I also saw. So let's see. What did I see for De Niro movies? King of Comedy. That movie ruled. They say that Joker has a lot of nods to King of Comedy. It does in that like it's the same storyline. And Taxi Driver, not that good.
I like Taxi Driver.
That's considered like the best movie ever, though.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Okay, if I had known going in, like, hey, look, a lot of you will say it's amazing. It's not that good. Then I'd be like, cool.
I didn't.
I mean,
go
either way, I didn't think it was a bad movie. But
No, I didn't know that people thought that it was like one of the best movies of all time. I just went in and I was like, people like this movie. I watched it and I was like, okay, I get why people like this movie. It's pretty good.
yeah. And I saw The Heat. Have you ever seen The Heat?
Is that with Al Pacino?
Yeah.
and De Niro.
It's a 90s.
I've seen pieces of it.
90s De Niro and Pacino. It's Pacino's a good guy, and De Niro's a bad guy.
I feel like they should always just play bad guys.
Yeah, maybe even dueling bad guys.
Yeah.
I don't know, a little problematic. It's a lot
Speaking
of bad
of problematic,
guys
did
for
you
one
think that
movie.
the Joker was problematic at all? Like,
No, but my antenna generally isn't up for that. I mean,
Yeah.
you know where I stand there. Like,
But I ask you because you are like pretty good at identifying that stuff sometimes.
of like knowing if it's going to upset people or knowing if it's harmful. I mean,
I think we
will
all
say-
know that it's going to upset people, and people are upset about it.
Yeah, there was a thing. I gotta give a tip of the cap to Deadspin. Deadspin wrote a thing. Let me find it. Deadspin, the Joker. So,
But like you had a strong take on Green Book and like people perceiving it as problematic
Right.
last year.
Right.
Do you think that it's that Joker
people-
falls into somewhat of the same category? Obviously, it's two different issues.
no, I think a lot of the Green Book stuff was, I mean, people not liking how the movie was made and people not liking the director, which is a big part of it. But I still got upset that people said that the movie claimed to solve racism, where the movie ends with a guy going over to dinner to sit at a table full of racist people.
Right.
Like, I in no way felt like, oh, whoa, if you think about it, racism is over.
Right.
And if you felt that way from it, then
So let me ask you:
Then
like,
suit
do you-
yourself,
Do
but-
you feel like the Joker like sympathized with?
oh, no.
Okay, great.
No, I
Yeah.
did say the one thing that did kind of freak me out a little bit is that scene at the end when
Yeah,
everybody's
same.
in the street.
It was. Oh no!
I'm like,
I was thought you were gonna
that
say
sort
different
of thing. Like now that Trump's been elected, like nothing surprises me anymore. There could just be a day where everyone's like,
one. Literally just like killing people.
you
in
know
the
what?
streets.
Forget it.
Yeah.
Like there's no rules anymore. Let's just all run into the streets and just cause absolute madness. So
that's like part of the reason why I said like there's like a very uneasy feeling while you're watching the movie because you're like this is not as far fetched as it once might be.
Yeah.
And also like I thought it was the scene on the talk show I think was like very like explicit.
But that's like what the Joker was to me, though. Like I said, like that he's the like walk right up and pull out a gun and everyone screams and then he shoots the guy. Like that's the crazy shit that I'd always like.
Yeah, but I
that's
think
how
like
I'd envision
more.
the Joker.
I think like the line delivered as he did it was sort of like a little too on the nose.
it was very. It's very tough to watch.
Yes.
Here's where I got to shut out. Deadspin. I heard people talking about before the movie some sort of incel aspect of it. Mm-hmm. I have intentionally avoided that whatever conversation there is about incel. Do you know anything about this?
The
Incels?
I know what it means. Involuntary celibate.
It's dudes who are saying girls don't have sex with us, so girls are bad.
Yeah, well, it's like dudes,
And like they like
it's
wish harm to women.
Yeah, it's dudes who like blame women for not wanting to be with them, basically, and like have anger towards women because they're not having sex with them.
Okay, so that's a thing that blows my mind, and if I don't understand how people could be that stupid. Anyway, there was a lot of like, is this movie sympathetic to? Is this going to be like an incel calling card movie? And I was like, what the why would it be that? And I went to see it, and that was not.
No,
That is not how I took away from it. And Deadspin wrote this thing called "You're Not Going to Remember Any of This Shit," a Joker review, and there was this part from it that I thought was correct. The movie had very little to do with the incel panic people built up around it. The Joker's main antagonist is the wealthy, and for good reason. He has fantasies about women, but he doesn't seem terribly interested in laying clown pipe. Okay, Deadspin. And no point does he consider getting cosmetic cranial surgery, but everyone pinning this particular set of fears on this movie was incredibly predictable, as incel is one of those words journalists learned a year ago and have tricked themselves into believing they've known it their whole lives and can deploy it frequently. People saw this and decided that a movie about an abandoned, sad, abused man was about their new favorite word, alternating between repetitive mockery and belief that they would be martyred for reviewing it. I see what that guy's saying.
yeah, definitely, and I also don't think that like it was there was
People
no,
throw that around as like
And there was in this movie, yeah, I definitely agree that people throw that. It's like the whole like millennial,
right?
Like,
it's a new buzzword,
right? And
look, like the shitheads who whatever that shithead group of people. I'm certainly not like sending any sympathy their way, and they certainly exist. But
I didn't get that feeling.
I didn't see this movie as them being like, "Hey, you guys need a shoulder to cry on. We're here for you."
And also I don't think that Joaquin Phoenix's character showed like a ton of anger towards women. There was I don't know what happens with him and Zazie Beetz. Honestly, like they leave that kind of open ended, but it's. Like, there was no, like, a general feeling coming away from this movie. It's like, oh, man, that guy hates women.
Yeah, I mean, spoiler alert, he kills 4 people that we know of. No, 5 people that we know of. And one's a woman, but it's his mom. So there are some different issues that come into play there.
I believe that he kills another one at the very end, in that final scene.
Who?
The woman in the room with him.
Oh, yeah.
Because he walks away and there's like there's like blood on his shoes and stuff.
Oh no, but that's okay. Maybe I don't know. I'm kind of not remembering the last scene as well as I should because I was checked out when they went from what should have been the last scene, to that. So what else? How do we get back there?
I think I sidetracked it. I think I asked about if you thought it was problematic after the. Whatever. So you brought up something as problematic, and then I asked about it. If you thought it was.
Oh, it was problematic for the Heat to have.
Oh,
two
yes,
bad
yeah, that's
if
right.
the Heat had 2 bad guys, fortunately, it did. Actually, it did have 2 bad guys. It also had Dolph Lundgren as. Was that Dolph Lundgren? No, maybe. I don't know. Dolph Lundgren was the dude in the '90s, the blonde dude in the '90s that was in every movie.
Or Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's not blonde. Never mind.
So it wasn't Jean-Claude Van Damme. I think it was Dolph Lundgren. There's no way of knowing.
Yeah, if there was only some way to find out.
It sucks. It drives
Let
me
us
crazy.
know, folks, if you know.
Yeah. In the meantime, here's our top 5 performances from Breaking Bad, El Camino. Was it Dolph Lundgren?
No, it was Val Kilmer.
Is that problematic?
No, you just mistake a blonde guy for another blonde
person
guy.
for another person.
Yeah. What else?
El Camino.
Yeah. Okay. El
Are
Camino.
we gonna do El Camino or bring back the playlist?
Let's do both.
Okay. Let's quickly hit El Camino. Okay. I loved El Camino, and
you loved it.
I loved it. I'm so happy that it was like being on a diet for years, and then someone putting a big ass pizza in front of you. Like, how do you not want that? People say, like, "Oh, well, like, did we really need it?" Like,
no.
Look, if you don't want more Breaking Bad, then that's on you.
But we didn't need it. But I'm so glad we got it.
Right? Like, we were living and breathing without it, I guess. But then then technically we didn't need Breaking Bad.
That's true.
I'm super psyched that all of that happened. And if there's more Breaking Bad stuff, then give it to me. Especially if it's being made by Vince Gilligan. Like this was to me when people are like, "Oh,
I'm not so sure about
it. Was it really necessary?" Like, it is being given to you in the right hands. It's
100%.
It's all Vince Gilligan. It's all Aaron Paul.
Right.
This is the real stuff. This isn't some phony ass like, hey, let's show like Uncle Jack's buddies before they got shot.
Yeah.
No.
And it's not like, oh, it's 20 years later and Vince Gilligan's kind of struck out on some other projects. He went straight from Breaking Bad to Better Call Saul and made Better Call Saul interesting with like 1,000 times less interesting subject matter.
Totally.
And he made it enthralling. Like, I would trust my life with Vince Gilligan at this point, especially with characters that he's already developed and like a story that he has to cherish with like every fiber of his being. So like, he doesn't want to fuck up Breaking Bad as much as you don't want Vince Gilligan to fuck up Breaking Bad.
Right.
There was never a doubt in my mind that this wouldn't be like very palatable, very enjoyable. And like, it definitely wasn't necessary, and it definitely wasn't like overwhelming.
Right. Like, well, it wasn't like Breaking Bad left off where you needed to learn one more thing and then this taught you that thing. Like the finale did give us all I hate to keep using the term like, did we need it? But like, it gave you all
Closure.
you needed. It showed you the big thing that happens to the guy if you're wondering that's going to happen to him, and then they.
I like that you're protective
I was
of
going
Breaking
to say,
Bad
like,
spoilers.
I was making a face at myself as I was saying that. I was
kinda,
of
like,
all the things
we
I'm
just
so
had
happy to spoil.
We just spoiled a movie that like came out like a week and a half ago.
Right.
Had spoilers there without warning, and now you're very protective of a spoilers of a TV show that's like 10 years.
I don't know
old.
if there's any. Like, I like Breaking Bad so much that if anyone's watching it for the first time, and I know some people who are right now watching it for the first time, and I'm so jealous of them that they get to experience that. But yeah, like Breaking Bad, the finale gave you like everything you needed. But
except
if
one thing,
you had one question, and they were like, "Hey, is there anything else you'd like to know?" You'd be like, what happens to Jesse?
Yeah.
And this shows you what happens to Jesse in a
it's
great
like,
way.
and it's very much like a direct extension of Breaking Bad. You're just basically getting an extra 2 hours of Breaking Bad, and it doesn't feel like there's been like a disconnect there.
Right.
So yeah, what the hell? Why not?
Nothing goofy, nothing silly. There was nothing that you were like, oh man, this wouldn't have happened if it were Breaking Bad.
Right.
This is forced.
And it doesn't erase anything that happens in Breaking Bad. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't reverse anything done by Breaking Bad.
Right. There's I was a little concerned. Like, is there going to be like nostalgia forced in there? And there was only one scene where there was, and it was when Joe comes to get the car to the junkyard guy.
Yeah.
The Mr. What's his name? Mr. Heckles from Friends.
Yeah.
Mr. Heckles comes. I would love to have some like universe where that guy is actually Mr. Heckles. No, but he dies in Friends, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So they gave him a redemption arc by bringing him back to life.
Problematic.
Very problematic. Mr. Heckles comes to take the car, and he's like, "Oh, hey, Jesse, magnets." And I'm like, "Oh, don't do this movie. No, because the magnets thing happened
That was too much.
a month and a half ago. So don't do like hey, remember back in the day, like this realistically just happened. So no.
Right.
Not a month and a half ago, but you know what I'm saying.
And it was also like after he had just been very publicly tortured and held captive.
Right.
And this guy's coming in and being like, ha ha, what about those good times?
Yeah, Mr. Heckles sits around watching the news and listening to the radio all day. There's no way that he didn't, before getting that call, see the previous 2 hours of news being like, so we think we know what happened to that Jesse guy, and
He's literally
it's
been
horrifying.
tortured.
So he came in and he was like, hey, you got any magnets on you? This guy with the magnets. Hey, come on, what's the matter?
Mr. Heckles shows up and he's like, I got 5 minutes of material.
Right, I was
I'd
going to
like
say,
you
he's
to
got
hear.
tight five. He comes flying in. Mr. Heckles comes flying in with his tight five. A lot of it is Jesse one time said magnets based. And he comes flying. But that was really the only nostalgia that's kind of forced in there, which I liked because I didn't want a lot of that.
I think there was a good amount of nostalgia forced in, but a lot of it was enjoyable, and a lot of it was like stuff you wanted to see.
Like what?
The people brought back, like a lot of those.
Oh no! I mean like the
just like
I mean
references?
like Breaking Bad celebrating itself.
Okay.
Yeah, or like this being like a celebration of Breaking Bad. There was a little bit of that with Skinny Pete and Badger
Right
when
off
they're
the
playing,
bat,
when they're
yeah.
dogging each other. So but I never thought, I was like, even if this part's goofy for a second, I know this isn't going to be bad. This is going to be unbelievable. There's going to be some really drawn out cool scenes, which there were plenty.
Mm-hmm.
The Jesse searching Todd's house was awesome.
Amazing.
The stuff with the cops was great.
The stuff with the vacuum guy.
Yes,
very, very
who just
good.
died.
Yes,
You
literally
see,
the
just
day that
died?
it came out.
Oh, really?
It was literally the Friday that the movie came out, which is a bummer.
Wow. But that scene was
So
awesome.
good.
A lot of some good laughs in that scene. Cops pulling up, crazy about it. I had no complaints about this. We got to get to it at some point, but as I said before, there was the obvious continuity issue
With Todd.
And I'll say, maybe it's because I've got the right people in my life. I haven't seen anybody say anything bad about it, and I'm sure there are idiots on the internet who took it too far. I googled Breaking Bad, Jesse Plemons fat shame, and there were 1,000 articles of people aggregating, searching Twitter for idiots who were making fun of him. I think that you can note that there was a continuity error, though. And
Yeah. Well, it
I'm-
definitely doesn't help too that there were actual Breaking Bad flashbacks,
Right.
spliced in between Jesse Plemons now, and so it's like there's a very obvious difference there.
Oh yeah, I mean, so if
And
you
I
haven't
also-
seen it, like Jesse Plemons is fat in this, and he was not in Breaking Bad.
And also, like in the very first scene where Jesse Plemons comes back in El Camino, they do there's like a gate over his face, and I was like, oh man, are they doing this intentionally? Are they not going to show Jesse Plemons like in full to try to hide the weight gain?
Oh, so did you know that?
No, what?
Because he's in.
He put the weight on for Fargo,
So-
so I knew that he'd gotten bigger.
Okay, so
And obviously, he was just in Game 9. He was bigger in that too.
right. So when I saw that, I was like, it had to have been a scheduling thing, but I mean, it could not have. It could have been.
I think he just put the weight on for Fargo and then left it on.
Okay, so that's what I figured it was. But I mean, I'll say, not to give. I'll give 2019 a small pat on the back. 10 years ago,
You would have been roasted.
that would have been a lot worse, and I'm glad that people are a little more considerate now to say like, hey, like whether he had to do it for a different job or whatever, just like note the continuity error. Say, all right, obviously this was not all shot at the same time.
It probably helps that Jesse Plemons was never like a sex symbol. Like he was never this guy who was like ripped in like great shape. So it's not like super jarring.
It's
You're
true.
just
He never got Lydia,
that's true, but he did get
Kirsten Dunst.
her too, but also
IRL.
Friday Night Lights.
Yeah,
Tyra.
one of the great love storylines
Yes.
in television
Spawning
history.
over murder.
Oh, that's
Manslaughter.
right. Oh, okay, yeah, I forgot. Oh man, I was talking about Lights Camera podcast. Not Lights Camera. What would we call it? Lights Camera podcast. That's the Barstool thing.
Full
Clear
Hearts.
Clear Eyes, Full Hearts podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking about that the other day. That was a wild, fun time. But like one of my big memories of that was the discussion of Landry doesn't get girls unless he breaks the law. Like
Yep.
he runs one over with his car
Yep.
and is like, insurance. One, and then one was obviously the
Literally
murder situation.
a dead
which
body.
again, like, why didn't they go to the cops?
Yeah, I don't know.
They would have been so fine.
Yes.
And his dad, who is a cop,
Could have
then
helped.
covered it up instead. That was such a weird move.
It was very, very weird.
Like that was a horrible, traumatic thing. They like not to.
They
I
kinda
mean, it
just,
didn't
like-
happen in real life, but I'll say like they could have gotten like weeks off of school for that too. Like if they went to the cops and they were like, "Look, like this rapist was stalking her, and we tried to fend him off, and we hit him with a pipe, and he fucking died." That's the.
Like,
I
that's
don't
a
think people would be like,
monsters.
"You asshole." They'd be like,
That
"Oh
is
my
a
god,
really
that is like a."
unfortunate thing.
They would like. I would think. Hopefully, they'd be like, "Yo, like,
Are you
Tyra,
okay?"
like, what do you need?" That is like, that is a horrible experience that hopefully nobody should ever have to go through.
And then his dad, the cop, is like, "Yeah,
He's like, let's burn your car." Oh man, that is like a very heavy thing that was handled extremely horribly. Which brings me back to El Camino. Jesse had a moment where he could have gone to the cops, where he has Todd when they're burying the cleaning lady. Todd, you sociopath.
But I thought that was so good that
Yeah.
like that they gave some like insight into who Todd is,
Right.
And he's just like a fucking. I know that we got some of it in Breaking
oh,
Bad.
like, you know he's a sociopath,
but like man, it extends beyond what we saw. in
and there's a
Breaking
lot,
Bad.
and like Jesse almost needed it because Todd is like his caregiver with them, and he's like the good cop to Uncle Jack and his boys bad cop.
Yeah.
Where he's giving him ice cream. He's like he's trying to be nice to him because Todd, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he doesn't have any friends. So like he's got this this weird relationship with the person he's holding captive, and in his mind he thinks he's being nice to. So who knows if Jesse is getting any sort of Stockholm syndrome or whatever. But there's this scene where they're after Todd's being nice to him and saying like, "Hey, I need your help with this," blah blah blah, and then they show that they needed him to clean up that he just randomly killed his housekeeper because he's an absolute sociopath. They go to bury the woman in the desert, and Jesse has a moment where he gets Todd's gun and he can shoot him, kill him, do whatever he wants. There, he gives him the gun back, and they move on because he wants to make sure nothing bad happens to Brock. But here's what I was thinking: you point the gun at him, say, "Todd, give me your phone." Gives him the phone, give me the keys, strand Todd, go to the cops, make sure they protect Brock, and say, "I'm turning myself in." That way, you got nobody left to protect other than that. Really? Right? Like
Walt's alive at the time.
Oh shit! You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would that fuck with it at all? Why would it?
I don't know. I guess that if he didn't want to like bring the entire thing down, if he had any hope that Walt was going to get him out of it or whatever.
Yeah, but like that would be one move where he could have gone to the cops and turned himself in. And I was wondering if
it's a lot to think about. In,
exactly.
Like, the moment.
That's where like I just give him a pass on. That's tough to do in real time.
Yeah,
because who knows? I mean, maybe there's like a thing with Jack and the boys where like if they don't hear from Jesse or if they don't hear from Todd whenever, then.
So I thought that like there was very little that added back to Breaking Bad, like because like I said, it's just an extension and it moves his story forward a little bit. But if there's anything that adds to Breaking Bad, it's the sort of a deeper look into the relationship between Jesse and Todd.
Yeah,
and I think that knowing that happened before the final scene of Breaking Bad is kind of cool.
Yeah,
having that extra knowledge.
Yeah. That it still I mean the Todd's last scene in Breaking Bad is
pretty brutal.
Yeah. Let's say it was satisfying for satisfying. What else do I have on
for El Camino? I had it's a strange name for a movie for the car that's in the movie for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, shouts out Skinny Pete.
Hell yeah.
What a good friend.
Hell yeah. Shouts out. Like not. I mean, I know that he's basically like a full-bred criminal.
Yeah.
But like, man, smart guy. Good thinking.
Who?
Skinny Pete.
Oh, right,
right. His like final plan to get Jesse out of there.
Yeah.
Worked out very well.
Loved the what'd you think of the duel?
Not great shooting. Just some real terrible shooting on the second the second guy. The second guy in.
The idiot?
Yeah.
The guy with the mustache?
Yes.
He was like a South Park character.
He was
such an idiot.
He was a stormtrooper in a past life. That's a Star Wars joke. I know you right over your head. But not a good shooter. Just a lot of misses.
Well, they're all coked up, which
That's
made
true
it
too.
Which made it funnier. Jesse just shooting through his jacket,
yeah.
lighting it on fire.
It's so funny. It's just the casual like, hey, your jacket's on fire.
I did. Don't answer this question because I don't care, gun people. But I find it funny. People always dog the fuck out of certain guns. They're like, oh, a 22. What are you trying to shoot with that? Oh, what are you trying to shoot with the 22? We want to go play with Barbies? Well, I was like, it's a gun. It can kill you. What is it like? Not kill you enough? I've never understood that.
I think there are some guns though that like you're gonna need a couple shots.
Well, he shot him a couple times.
That's
and
true,
killed him.
Right? Yeah, but I think the other guy's thinking was like, I've got a good gun. Like if I get one shot in you, you're not gonna kill me. You might put one in me, but like,
right.
I'm gonna need one shot and kill you.
Okay. Well, then I guess that answers that question.
Yeah.
But Jesse did Jesse cheat?
Jesse cheated for sure.
Right. That's what I thought. But I'm like, I feel like that's a game where you're allowed to cheat.
Well, yeah, because the alternative is pretty bad. Yeah.
The stakes are high.
Like, what is he going to do? Get you back for cheating?
Right. That was I like that scene. I did hear some people say that like that was the height of it, and but it was such a short scene, and I'm like, well, the entire movie can't be duels. That would be simply ridiculous.
Yeah. And I heard a complaint that those people don't really mean anything to us. It's like, well, it's very, very fucking hard to establish new villains in the course of a 2-hour movie.
No, I think that all the stuff with those characters was good.
No, I thought it was all good, but I think that I saw the complaint that like those people don't mean anything to us. Like we don't really know them.
Yeah, but like, how much did the guys who killed Andrea's little brother mean to us? And those guys were in a bunch of scenes. You know those two dudes?
Yeah.
The hamburgers. They were always eating hamburgers. Just crushing those hamburgers from Wendy.
Yeah.
I liked it, though.
I really liked it. I thought it was very, very enjoyable. Like, not knock your socks off, like, overwhelming kind of stuff, but a very enjoyable movie that, like, lives up to the hype that Breaking Bad establishes.
If Vince Gilligan is going to give me more Breaking Bad content, I am going to take it.
Do you need anything after this, though?
Every time. I will take more.
Okay.
That I will take more. I don't know. I don't care what it is or what's...
I don't know what it even could be.
So that's the thing. What could it... They'd have to get pretty creative.
You could do like a Badger and Skinny Pete spinoff.
See, that's where it would be tough.
It would be too silly.
Right. Maybe Mr. Heckles.
Hell yes.
Like The Shop with Mr. Heckles.
All right, let's do let's bring back the playlist.
Yeah, the playlist is back. We've always wanted to have the playlist around, and just sometimes it goes away. On Spotify, I've combined the two playlists we've made into one, and we're just going to have one huge playlist. So songs that we reference on here and songs that we add will be put on there. And you know what? Just even going through the old playlist was a fun time reminiscing. I forgot the playlist has a lot of followers on Spotify, so shouts out the people who are checking it out. I don't think that we can see those numbers on Apple Music, but I'm assuming they're the same because I think
when do we get on Spotify?
Like 700.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah,
nice. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know where to start here because it's been so long that we've added anything.
Right.
That like obviously there's a ton of stuff that's come out in the time since. But just like right now, one of the songs that I'm listening to, just like a very, very pleasant song. I don't even know if it's new. It might be. But Black RMs by Alex Leahy.
I don't know what that is. I think I've heard of Alex Leahy.
But it's just like a very pleasant song.
Nice.
So I'm going to add that. What do you got? I got some more too.
Yeah, go for it.
Right, you wanna go,
I'm trying to learn what Alex Leahy is.
All right. I'm going to add, and I didn't think that I would ever get to this point, but I'm going to add the John Mayer song, "Carry Me Away." It's not fantastic, but it's grown on me.
Correct.
It's good
take. It's not fantastic.
it's
no,
not.
I was just agreeing with it's not fantastic.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It didn't blow me away upon first listen. I thought I was kind of bored, kind of a basic song, but you know what? It's a little bit of earworm, and it grows on you. So I'm going to add "Carry Me Away." And the third one is this song called "Where the Shadow Ends" by a group called Banners. I don't know anything about them. I was shown that song this week. It's a nice little like sort of electronic like churches-y vibe, and it's enjoyable. I enjoy the listen.
Interesting. Where was I? I was somewhere recently where they were playing band. Oh, I was getting some drinks with some friends, and they were playing Churches, and I was like, man, it was one of my favorite Churches songs off the first album.
With the Mother We Share?
No.
Gun? Tether?
Why no? Like
Recover?
Yes.
Okay.
It was Recover. I love that song, and I was like, man, Churches used to be so good, and then they kind of they didn't do so great with their last album, and I was like, I don't know. Maybe I just had too high of hopes for them, and they weren't. And it was good stuff they were putting out. And the next song they played was "Get Out," and I was like, "No, this sucks. This is a bad song." Churches has gotten worse. I still hold out hope for them to keep churning out good stuff in the future. Okay, for mine, I agree that there's like a lot that we can add, and maybe we'll do like a end of year music episode where we like put on our favorite stuff from the year, because there have been a lot of great songs and albums that have come out in 2019. It's been a very good year for music, but I'm just going to randomly put out stuff that I've been jamming on of late. Dark Red by Steve Lacy. He's the guitarist from the internet, and he rules. And I just finally started listening to some of his solo songs the other day, and he has a song from 2017 called Dark Red that was quite popular, it seems. It has like 40 million streams on Spotify, and it's a great song because it's very simple, but it's got like a chord progression that I legitimately don't think I'd ever heard before. So that's always cool when people find new ways to reinvent the wheel. Shouts out Steve Lacy. One great song from 2019, Flowers by Rah Rah Riot.
Oh, yeah.
They're about to head out on tour, so if they're hitting your city, make sure you go see those folks because they're the coolest. And the last one I'll add is Running Out of Luck by Alex Cameron. That was the first Alex Cameron song that was sent to me, and I'm crazy about it. It was written with a guy named Brandon Flowers. Took a break from slobbing down below on himself to lend a hand in writing the song. He sings some backup vocals on it, and it is like, I don't know if there's like a more up my alley song that I've heard in the last year than Running Out of Luck. It's not from his new album. His new album is unbelievable though, so check out Miami Memory. And I guess we can end with how I was
on music.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, Father John Misty.
Trouble, oh, trouble, set me free. I have seen your face and it's too much for me. Trouble, oh, trouble, can't you see? You eat my heart away, there's nothing much left of me. I've drank your wine. You have made your world mine. So won't you be fair? So won't you be fair? Kind to me, just let me go where I'll have to go there. Trouble, oh trouble, move away. I have seen your face and it's too much for me today. Trouble, oh trouble, can't you see? You have made me a wreck, now won't you leave me in my misery? I've seen your eyes, I can see death's disguise hanging on me. Hanging on me. I'm beat, I'm torn, shattered and tossed and worn. Too shocking to see, too shocking to see. Trouble, oh trouble, move from me. I have paid my debt, now won't you leave me in my misery? Trouble, oh trouble, please be kind. I don't want no fight, and I haven't got a lot of time.